On YouTube, I'm subscribed to a channel called Adamblogsyou, and he did a video where he named his favorite things. It's called I Tag You, and he tagged his viewers to post a video response of their favorite things to those favorite things. There's 18 in all, and he actually is doing this, I think, as a bit of a response to somebody else's video or somebody else's challenge. The first thing is food. That's the first item on the list. And mine is hamburgers. It's the same as Adam. And the reason I think they're my favorite is because they're a nice solid food. They don't create too much of a mess. Drink, coffee, keeps me awake for that monotonous job I have. I need that. My favorite animal is my cat. I guess cats in general, but my cat, he's not here and he's old, so I don't pick him up too much anymore. And my favorite person I know is my nephew. He's about 8 months, 9 months old now. And just seeing the world the way he perceives it. Children are born with this natural ability to entertain. And just watching him, you can kind of see the way he's kind of exploring his world for the first time, seeing what he can do, what he's capable of, you know, and the back and forth between him and me, him and my other family members. It's kind of, you know, I look at him and I think, I used to be that. Now let's get on to people I don't know. And I got this down to 3 people. Okay, I couldn't think of one, but I thought of 3. The first of my favorite people that I don't know is this guy. His name is David Peltzer, and he wrote these books about his life. And really, they're very tragic. They're about the horrific child abuse he suffered at the hands of his mother. But really, they're great books. And here's the 4 of them anyway. Right there. Here, I'll hold them up individually. There's this one, A Child Called It. The second one, The Lost Boy. The third one, which he actually wrote 4th, The Privilege of Youth, and the 4th one, which he actually wrote 3rd, A Man Named Dave. There we go. I don't know if I would say they were my favorite books because they were very hard to take, very tragic, and I admire him for being able to come through that childhood and be the stand-up person he is. The second of my 3 favorite people that I don't know is this guy. If you don't know him, that's Stephen Hawking. He wrote a book called well, he's probably written other books, but he wrote one that I would probably consider very close to one of my favorite books, A Brief History of Time. But he suffers from Lou Gehrig's disease, so he's wheelchair bound and he can't speak. But he's still out there because his brain refuses to quit. That's why he's my second favorite person I don't know. My third favorite person I don't know is John Walsh, host of America's Most Wanted. I happen to be Canadian, but you know, we get that show up here too. And the reason he's my favorite, or on this list of 3, is because he turned a personal tragedy, the death of his son, into, I don't know if I should call it a social triumph or a public triumph or something like that. And he turned his tragedy into something where he's helping other people with America's Most Wanted. You know, and they captured, I don't know, a lot of fugitives up to this date. But the reason all 3 of these men are on my list, and I couldn't narrow it down, is because all three of them have turned a personal tragedy into, I don't know what to call, again, I don't know what to call it, a social triumph, a personal triumph, a public triumph. But they turned, again, like I said, something tragic, something negative, into something positive. That's why they're on there. Favorite movies? Well, I'm a movie I love movies, so I couldn't narrow it down to one. I picked two, one from the 80s and one from the 90s. I was thinking of picking one from the, actually I guess I can pick one from the 2000s. There you go. I'll pick one from each decade. Okay? The one from the 80s is probably a mob movie I would put up there with The Godfather, but it didn't get nominated for anything because it was so heavily ruined by its studio, and then they realized what they did and they released the nice 229-minute version on video. So it's this movie with Robert De Niro and James Woods, Once Upon a Time in America. A great, something reflecting on that, a great mob movie, really. This is one of my favorite movies. And you hardly believe it's 3 hours and 49 minutes long. The second one is the 90s, and it's the movie The Crying Game. And Adam, if you haven't seen this movie, go and see it, or get a copy of it, do something. Okay, get it, but don't talk to anyone about it, because they'll ruin this movie for you. There's a couple of good plot devices and twists in this movie that if you talk to anyone who has seen it, they will really want to tell you, and you don't want them to tell you. They'll ruin this movie. So go and get a copy of this. And the movie from the 2000s, again, there's a few, but since this one was actually sitting on the table, and it's a good movie, and it was at hand, Slumdog Millionaire. I don't know, I'm a sucker for, kind of romantic ones, but big epics are the ones I love, like Gladiator, that's from 2000. If that was at hand, I probably would have picked that. Again, book, I don't know. Like I mentioned two books already, A Brief History of Time, and the the other four books, but they're all one biography. David Peltzer's books, they're all up there. I don't know. There's also A Paper Life, which is about Tatum O'Neal's autobiography. I don't know, I like a lot of The Brotherhoods. There's a really good book. Favorite song? Don't stop believing. Well, there's my favorite song. It's the same as Adam's. It's Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And he said in his video, not the Glee version. I didn't even know there was a Glee version, and now that I do, I'm scared. So I'm going to stay away from that version. But yeah, that's my favorite song. Item of clothing. I don't have one, but I have one type of favorite item of clothing. And that's these big sweaters. I like them. They're comfy and they're loose and they're me. I can't put it any other way. As you may have guessed, my favorite beauty product is a hairbrush. Not this particular hairbrush, this is just one that was at hand, but a hairbrush. And it's anyone that's handy and, well, this one's old, but yeah, a hairbrush. My favorite place? Toronto. This is my hometown. I couldn't imagine leaving. I thought of leaving at some points in my life, but no. This is my comfort zone. Actually, I'm not even gonna say that's probably why. That is why this is my favorite place. It's my comfort zone. Toronto. I know it like the back of my. What the hell is that? My favorite season is spring. And I think that's because the days get longer in spring. In summer, that's when they get the longest, and then they start getting shorter again. But I like, because today is December 20th, so tomorrow is the shortest day of the year, December 21st, or actually it is the 21st now, because it's past midnight, so today is the shortest day of the year. It's the winter solstice. And I like spring, and that's why I like spring the best, because the days are always getting longer. They don't get longest and then start getting shorter again. They don't stay, but there's always more daylight to look forward to. So, my favorite time of the year, well, again, like Adam, that would be Christmas. And I think that's because, I don't know, time with family maybe. My favorite memory, well, this is a bit of a story. It includes my father's mother, who died in 1989. Here's a picture of her right there. Oh, there we go. It's blurry. There's a picture of her. The other people in the photo are my sister, my other sister, my cousin, her daughter, and me, of course. I'm only about 8 or 9 there. But there she is. And I think it was the last time I saw her alive. We were at the hospital. It was me, my parents, and a few other family members. And she kind of looked at all of us. She was laying down. She kind of just peered, looked. She didn't know anyone. But I was the last one she looked at. And when she looked at me, this huge smile appeared on her face. She went, big toothless smile. I think she had only a couple of teeth left by that time. I was the only one she remembered. She didn't remember any of her kids. None of my cousins, just me. I felt more special in that moment than I have before or since. I was only 10 years old. My favorite age, that would be my 20s. I'm 32 now, but my 20s. Everyone says 30's the new 20, but my favorite color, red. I love red. I don't know why. Red is just, it's always been my favorite color. My favorite word, I don't have one. I could never narrow down the English language to just one word. It's too complex. I'm going to differ a little bit from Adam's video here, and I'm going to name my favorite YouTuber. Forgive the childlike handwriting, of course. His name is Phil Hellenes, and he's done videos like such as This Remarkable Thing and Speculum. Those are just 2 of his videos. They are excellent. He's my favorite, and I've watched his videos many times. Many. And to anyone who sees this video, see at least those 2. This Remarkable Thing and Speculum. On this guy's channel, Phil Hellenes. And now for the last one. So I kind of did 19, but my last one, my favorite quote. This is kind of half mine, half somebody else's. They kind of thought of the general idea and made up a quote. I can't remember who it was, but I reworded it so that for me, I guess it makes more sense. And that quote is, love is the only thing that can be divided, stretched, or spliced endlessly without losing any of its qualitative or quantitative potency. The only thing in existence.